Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into something you guys specifically requested: money, mindset, and financial education. And to help us out, we're going to be looking at Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which I know has sparked a lot of conversation.
Oh, yeah. This book has been super influential. I mean, millions of copies sold, and it really challenges like the traditional ideas of how to build wealth. And what's so interesting is how relevant the core ideas still are, like in today's world and economy.
Right. It's like this wake-up call for your finances almost.
Right.
So are you guys ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about money and discover what it really takes to achieve that lasting financial freedom? Because that's what we're diving into today. Okay, so let's unpack this. Kiyosaki starts with this idea of rich dad versus poor dad.
Right. And it's not about your actual father or dads, right? It's more about these contrasting mindsets about money. You have the poor dad who's highly educated, but they struggle financially, right? And then rich dad who may not have the formal education, but thrives financially. And it's just really cool how Kiyosaki uses this simple contrast to really showcase those deeper financial attitudes.
Totally. And it really makes you think, right? Like how much of our financial success is tied to our mindset
Yeah.
rather than, just our education or our income level. Kiyosaki chose to follow that rich dad path, which led him to some pretty unconventional lessons.
Yeah.
One that really stands out is the story of a 9-year-old Kiyosaki working for rich dad for practically nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's everyone's favorite story. He felt like he was being taken advantage of, working for pennies. But Rich Dad was really teaching him something much bigger. He was teaching him about the value of financial education over chasing a bigger paycheck. And Rich Dad really understood that true wealth is not built through just labor alone, but through leveraging knowledge and understanding the system.
Okay, so that's a huge GE point. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. So how do we start working smart? Well, Kiyosaki talks a lot about building this asset column. I think that's where things get really interesting, what do you say?
Absolutely. And think about the story of Ray Kroc. He founded McDonald's and he said that his business wasn't burgers, it was real estate, the land and the buildings his restaurants were on. And that's a perfect example of what Kiyosaki means when he talks about building an asset column.
So it's not just about, saving money. It's about owning things that put money in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Like rental properties, businesses, rather than things that just drain your bank account.
Exactly. And Kiyosaki's not afraid to challenge, traditional thinking here. He even says that like a house, for example, it's not always an asset. It can be a liability if you're constantly having to pour money into it, but you're not seeing a return. So it's all about understanding the difference between those assets and those liabilities, right?
Right.
An asset puts money in your pocket.
Okay.
And a liability takes it OUT.
This is where mindset comes in again, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at the world with a new financial lens. And speaking of different lenses, Kiyosaki also dives into how the wealthy, how they play by a different set of rules, especially when it comes to the whole taxes thing.
Yes. And this is where some people might get a little bit, uncomfortable, but it's so important to understand. He's not saying, evade taxes, but he's highlighting how the wealthy very often will use corporations to legally minimize how much they're paying in taxes and also protect their assets.
So it's not just about working hard, earning money, but understanding that financial system and using it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Now, I know this might sound a little controversial to some people, but remember, we're just exploring Kiyosaki's perspective here.
Right. The important thing is to understand these different viewpoints and how they can impact your financial journey. Kiyosaki's core message is that the wealthy don't just work for money, they make money work for them. And that means understanding how taxes fit into the equation. It's a key part of the puzzle. And he illustrates this point really well with that story about Alexander Graham Bell offering his telephone patent for $100,000 and Western Union basically laughing in his face.
Wow. Can you imagine missing out on that?
I know, right?
It's like the perfect example of how financial intelligence isn't just about working harder. It's about thinking differently and seeing the potential where other people see problems. It's about recognizing opportunities that others miss and be willing to take those risks, those calculated risks.
Exactly. It's all about shifting your mindset, learning the rules, and seeing the world through this new financial lens. And that brings us to probably one of the most important aspects of Kiyosaki's teachings, overcoming the obstacles that prevent us from building wealth, even when we understand the principles.
Right, and he identifies 5 key roadblocks, right? Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. These are internal challenges, not external obstacles that can hold us back.
Absolutely. And, of those, fear seems to be like the big one. He even talks about how Rich Dad used to get nervous before big deals, but instead of letting that fear paralyze him, he used it as fuel.
Okay.
You know, he saw those setbacks and failures as opportunities to learn and grow.
That's a really powerful way to look at it, turning fear into fuel. So we've covered a lot of ground here, contrasting mindsets, financial education, building that asset column, understanding the rules of the game, and then overcoming those internal obstacles. It's a lot to take in, and it all seems so critical to financial success.
Yeah,
But Kiyosaki doesn't just leave us with these concepts, does he?
he does not. He also gives us this roadmap, a set of 10 to-do actions that we can use to build wealth. And these are practical steps that we can start implementing, like today, to shift our mindset and create that brighter financial future.
Yeah. It's not enough to just understand the theory. We've got to put it into action.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's dive into some of those action steps. Action step number 1, he says, find a reason greater than reality. So basically, a strong WHY that will fuel your financial journey.
Yeah, and this is crucial. You've got to identify that powerful motivator, that driving force that's going to keep you going even when you're faced with those setbacks. Is it financial security for your family? Maybe it's early retirement or the freedom to travel the world. Whatever it is, that WHY has got to be strong enough to really propel you forward.
Yeah, I love that. It's about having that clear vision of what we want and why it matters to us. But Kiyosaki doesn't stop there, right? He also emphasizes having a purpose for your financial goal.
Exactly. It's not just about the money, but what that money represents and what you'll actually do with it. You know that purpose? It adds a deeper meaning to the whole journey. It becomes more than just chasing wealth. It's a path to creating the life you really want.
So we've got our WHY, our financial goal, our purpose. Now what?
Okay, well, action step number 2, and this is a big one, constantly improve your financial literacy. It's all about learning that language of money, understanding how it works so you can actually make informed decisions.
Right, and this is where we get into like the nitty-gritty of financial statements, cash flow, investing, and all that stuff that could be a little overwhelming when you first start out. But Kiyosaki argues that it's essential. We have to empower ourselves with that knowledge so that we can really navigate the world of money with confidence.
He makes such a good point when he talks about learning to read those numbers and understand them. He says, if you can't read the numbers, you can't tell an asset from a hole in the ground.
That's such a great visual, right?
Yeah.
We need to be able to see that financial landscape clearly so we can make smart choices and avoid those costly mistakes. Financial literacy, that's what gives you the tools to analyze investments, assess risks, and ultimately build that wealth.
Absolutely.
So once we're on the path to improving our financial literacy, what's next?
Okay, so action step number 3 is all about who you surround yourself with. Choose your heroes carefully. And this isn't about just admiring successful people, but actually studying what they did, learning from their mistakes, and understanding how they actually achieved those financial goals.
It's like having mentors, even if they're not directly in your life, right?
Mhm.
We can learn so much from their experiences, both the good and the bad, and use that knowledge to help guide us.
Right.
Kiyosaki says that heroes often make things look easy, which I think is super inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. It gives you that sense of possibility that if they can do it, so can I feeling. And he encourages us to find those heroes who make that financial success seem attainable, not like this distant, impossible dream.
So we've found our WHY, we're working on our financial literacy, and we're finding inspiration from those heroes. What else is on Kiyosaki's list?
Well, action step number 4 is master a formula and then learn a new one. And what he means by that is having those tools and strategies for building wealth, but also being open to trying new approaches as we grow and as the world changes, as that financial landscape changes.
Yeah, that's so important, that adaptability.
Right. And he really emphasizes that continuous learning, especially with how fast the world is moving now. It's not just about it's how quickly you can adapt and learn those new things.
Right.
And he shares this great story about how he mastered this formula for buying foreclosures and he built his wealth using that strategy. But then he had to adapt and learn new formulas as the market started to change. It's like you're a lifelong student of money.
Yeah, it's a great reminder that we need to be flexible, adaptable, and always be adding to our financial toolkit. Okay, so now for a concept that I think is super important. Action step number 5, pay yourself first.
Okay, this is such a fundamental habit, and it can make a huge difference in your financial success, like in the long term. It's about prioritizing those savings and investments before anything else, even before you pay bills or indulge in that spending.
Right. Like Kiyosaki's serious about this, right?
Yeah.
He talks about times when he was short on cash, but he still paid himself first, even when his accountant was freaking out.
It's a really powerful shift in your mindset. It's like you're saying, my financial well-being is a priority. It's not an afterthought. And yeah, it takes a lot of discipline, especially in the beginning. But imagine like the impact over time with compounding.
All right, on to action step number 6, which is pay your brokers well. And this isn't about just throwing money around. It's about understanding the value of getting that expert advice, that guidance when it comes to your finances.
Yeah. Kiyosaki really believes in finding those competent professionals, the ones who can help you build wealth and actually rewarding them for that expertise. Whether it's a skilled broker or a financial advisor or even a mentor, these people, they can save you so much time, so much money, and a lot of headaches in the long run.
And he specifically says to look for brokers who are investors themselves, right?
Yeah, he wants to know they've got skin in the game and that they actually understand the market.
From a personal perspective.
Yeah, it's about aligning those interests. We want our advisors to be as invested in our success as we are, not just taking a commission. And we need to find the people who share our vision, who are committed to helping us reach those goals.
Okay, now for an action step that I find really interesting.
Ah.
Action step number 7, be an Indian giver.
I know. This is the one that always gets people raising their eyebrows. But it's actually about understanding, like this concept of reciprocity and strategic generosity. And Kiyosaki uses that historical example, of how the European settlers misunderstood that whole Native American practice of gift giving, right?
Right.
It wasn't about charity. It was a form of exchange, a way to build those relationships and that mutual benefit.
It's like the saying, what goes around comes around, right?
Exactly. He's not saying be manipulative, but understand that every action has a reaction. When you're generous with your time, your knowledge, your resources, you'll very often get something in return. And sometimes it comes back in ways you'd never expect.
It's a cool concept. And it ties back into that whole idea of building that asset column, which is conveniently action step number 8. Focus on assets.
Right. It reinforces that core principle we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
That shift in focus from acquiring liabilities to building that portfolio of assets that generate income and grow in value over time.
And it's so important to remember that assets, they're not just, stocks and bonds. They can be anything. Businesses, real estate, even intellectual property, anything that's going to put money in your pocket or appreciate in value over time.
Absolutely.
Okay, on to action step number 9, which is use assets to buy luxuries. I've got to say, this one surprised me a little bit.
I get it. It almost feels counterintuitive at first.
It does.
Right. But what he's saying is that real wealth, it's about having that money work for you, even when you're enjoying those nice things in life.
Right. So instead of going into debt for that luxury car or that dream vacation,
Yeah.
you use the income that your assets are generating to fund those things.
Exactly. It's about aligning your spending with your financial goals. Instead of being controlled by debt, you're in control of your money, using it to create those experiences and get the things you really want.
That's so smart. I love it.
It really is. And ultimately, that leads us to Kiyosaki's final action step, teach and give back. This is where everything kind of comes full circle.
Right.
He believes that generosity can actually create abundance and that sharing your knowledge, sharing your resources, that can actually lead to even greater wealth.
It's about recognizing that wealth isn't this finite resource.
Exactly.
When we share what we've learned, not only are we helping others, but we often find that giving creates this positive ripple effect. And that comes back to benefit us, sometimes in ways that we didn't even expect.
You got it.
So we've explored Kiyosaki's 10 to-do actions for building financial wealth. It's a lot to take in, but it's like a roadmap, a guide to help us create that abundant and fulfilling financial future.
Right. And remember, these are just suggestions. You can adapt them, make them fit your own life and goals. The key is to take action. Start applying these principles to your own life.
Yeah. What stands out to you from those action steps? Which ones really resonate with you? It's amazing how those action steps all kind of build on each other. They all point towards taking control of our finances and creating a life where money works for us, not the other way around.
Yeah, and that whole idea of money working for you, that's at the heart of Kiyosaki's message.
Right.
He wants us to stop being consumers, always working for that paycheck, and start being producers, Having money work for
It's like
U.S.
switching teams in the game of money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not playing on the side of debt and financial struggle anymore. We're joining the team of wealth and abundance.
That's a great way to put it. And to really make that switch, he talks about three different types of income. You've got earned income, passive income, and then portfolio income.
Right.
He really wants us to get how these income streams all work together to build that real financial freedom.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit.
Yeah.
Earned income, that's what most people are familiar with, trading your time for money. That classic 9 to 5 is like the foundation for most of us.
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki says it shouldn't be our only focus.
Right. He's all about building up those streams of passive income and portfolio income. That's what leads to real security and eventually that freedom.
Okay, so passive income, that's what some people call making money in your sleep,
Yeah.
right? It's that income from assets that generate revenue without you having to constantly work.
Yeah, exactly. So things like rental properties, businesses that can kind of run themselves,
Yeah.
royalties from like books or inventions, things like that.
Got it. And then portfolio income, that's the income you make from your investments. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, stuff like that.
Right.
So the goal is to shift, to go from just relying on that earned income, which is limited by how many hours you can work,
Right.
to building up those other streams of passive and portfolio income, which can really grow over time.
And Kiyosaki, he calls it building an asset column that makes enough to cover your expenses and then some, you know. You're creating this system where your wealth is actually working for you and it frees you from that rat race so you can go after what you really want, live life on your own terms.
And that's where those 10 action steps we talked about,
Yeah.
that's where they become so powerful. They're not just random tips. It's this whole strategy for building those income streams, changing how you think about money, and really achieving that financial freedom.
Yeah, it all comes down to this really holistic approach to building wealth.
Right.
It's not just tactics, it's changing your whole relationship with money, you
Yeah.
know, understanding the principles behind it all.
I think that's what makes Kiyosaki's book so powerful. It's not just about getting rich. It's about giving people that control, taking control of their financial future and creating that life of abundance, that freedom.
And I think it really resonates with people because, deep down, we all want that financial security and the ability to live life on our own terms.
So to everyone listening, what's one small step that you can take, maybe even today, to start building your own path to financial freedom? What really stood out to you from Rich Dad, Poor Dad? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep into the world of knowledge and ideas.